me off my phone. We're live.
Yeah, we're live. Hello there, guys, and welcome back to another Two Halves live stream. Today, we're going to be talking about all the latest things to do with football and past fixtures that have just happened. So, to get right into it, we're going to talk about the Arsenal-Chelsea game. Um, it was a tough loss for Chelsea to take. The team performed horrifically. Um, they really should be ashamed of themselves. Obviously, after the game, Sarri was not happy at all with their performance, but I think it's also his fault. But we'll get on to that a bit later. And obviously, the goals, good goal from Lacazette, great turn, smashed it into the top corner. And then the other goal was just pure sloppiness from Chelsea and Koscielny to be in the right place at the right time. So yeah, poor performance from Chelsea, but a great performance from Arsenal, and that's why they won, and that's why they deserve to win. What do you think, though, Rico?
Yeah, I think Arsenal were amazing in that game. To be honest, the pressure they put on in the Chelsea team in the first half, they just kept pressuring them, and Jorginho couldn't go anywhere and make good passes.
Yeah, that's another thing as well. The main thing that Arsenal was stopping in Chelsea's side was Jorginho, because they know, and a lot of teams know now, that everything passes through him. And if you shut off Jorginho, you shut off Chelsea. It's as simple as that. And the only reason why Chelsea haven't been doing as bad as it seems like we're talking about them, is because the smaller teams don't have the quality players to do that, to stop Jorginho. But they know they have to stop Jorginho, but he's too good for them. But when he comes up against these big teams with good quality players, it's too much, and that's why Chelsea lost this game again. But I think there's a lot of things that Sarri could have done to stop this from happening, and maybe even get something from the game. He didn't bring on Hudson-Odoi till the 80th minute, and Giroud before. So yeah, I think it's poor performance overall from the manager and the team from Chelsea. But they've just got to move on from this, and just yeah, got to come back with a win, and hopefully adapt now and realise that they can't just be passing everything through Jorginho. But that's it on that subject. Next thing we can talk about is also linked to Chelsea is Chelsea versus Tottenham. It's a massive game for them, obviously losing to Arsenal at the weekend, and they want to get into the final. So yeah, it's going to be a massive game. I'm going to be watching it, and yeah, but obviously the big talking point is that they don't have a lot of their players, Dele Alli, Son, and also Kane, three of their probably most deadliest players. And we'll just have to wait and see how they do without them. But what do you think about Regan?
I think Chelsea will win this one because they'll be up for a big performance at Stamford Bridge as well. Though I think Spurs only just got away with a win yesterday against Fulham. 93rd minute goal, so I think they're dodgy without Harry Kane, Son, and now they're going to be missing Dele Alli, so I think it'll be a 3-0 Chelsea win.
Oh, that's a big score there. I wasn't exactly going to say the same thing, but I can definitely see where you're coming from there. Although it's a big score, it's that type of game that it can be a big score because Chelsea just come off a loss, and you look at Tottenham's side, and there's really no attacking threats there whatsoever that can trouble Chelsea. So I definitely see this game being a game that Tottenham don't score in, but I do see Chelsea also winning it. So I'm going 2-0 Chelsea, and I think they really are going to be trying their absolute best, and we're going to see the best Chelsea possible in this game. And I think they really will just kind of blow away Spurs, but without them knowing it really, and them still working quite hard, but Chelsea just a level above them. The next thing we can talk about, it's not exactly much to talk about because it's Burton Albion versus Man City, and we all know what happened last time. Awful result for Burton Albion. No chance whatsoever that they're coming back from that 9-0 loss to Manchester City in the first leg. And yeah, it's really just a training session for both sides, really. And maybe Burton Albion to do themselves proud at their own home ground. But apart from that, not much to really say apart from that. But you got anything to say on the matter, Rico? Or?
I think there's not much to go with it. I think Burton have been in good form.
Totally.
Up to the game. Apart from it, I think City have been in good form as well. City are going to take a weak side, very weak side, teenage side.
Yeah.
So that's the why I think that Burton will go on and win 10-0. I think 10-0 Burton Albion.
Yeah. Funny one, Rico.
That's what I think.
10-0. Well, I'll tell you what, if that did happen, that would be one hell of a game, and I think it would go down in history. And I'd love to see that. So let's hope you're right, but I doubt it. Next thing we could talk about is a very surprising thing that's come out in the last 24 hours. Is Boateng to Barcelona. What a load of rubbish. Not the news, the player. Nowhere near Barcelona quality. The only way I can see this making any sense is if he's a squad player, but I think he's even below a squad player at Barcelona. He's really not good. He's Jerome Boateng's brother, but obviously the worst off one. Not as talented in my opinion, and a lot of people's. But yeah, let's just hope for Barcelona's sake and their fans that this one doesn't go through. Unless they really can't get anyone else. But you got anything to say on the matter?
I just think it's. I think where I did thinking maybe because Dembele is missing a couple of weeks out, so maybe a quick replacement for him. Maybe it's only a loan with an option to buy in the summer.
Yeah, well, the loan makes more sense, obviously. But if they end up buying him, then I guess you'd have to put in quite a few good performances. But that doesn't totally make sense to me either. Replacing a centre midfield, replacing a winger with a central midfield player. So I'm not sure if you're right there, but if that is the case, then I find that idiotic. But let's let Barcelona do what they want to, and I'm sure they know kind of what they're doing because we all mocked the Paulinho deal, and he was a great player. I think he's obviously left again now, but while he was there, he was a great midfielder for them. And everybody was mocking that when he first came. So you never know with this one, you might get that. Next thing we can talk about is Morata to Atletico Madrid. It's basically finalised. All makes sense. I think it's a £50 million deal, which I'm very surprised by because I don't know how the hell Chelsea have got 50 million, only 20 million off of what they bought him for off of Real Madrid when he's been this awful for them. Really not been on form for them ever since he joined. I really don't know how he fits in at the Atletico Madrid side. They've got Diego Costa, Gamero, Griezmann. I'm pretty sure they've got another striker. What other striker they got, Rico?
I can't remember.
Do you know or not?
No.
But even if they've got no other strikers than that, it's still ridiculous because you've got two world-class, in my opinion, world-class strikers in front of him in Diego Costa and Antoine Griezmann. And it just makes no sense from Atletico Madrid's point. But, Chelsea will be well happy as they get quite a lot of money back after his poor performance, and I think they've done well with the money they're receiving for this deal. But yeah, we'll wait and see what happens. But I'm pretty sure it will go through. You got anything to say on it, Rico? Or?
No, I think it's a good deal for Chelsea. Also,
Yeah, exactly. Chelsea.
staying with Chelsea as well, like Higuain as well, coming in on loan.
Oh
With
yeah, sorry, I was
12-month
supposed to say
loan
that.
deal.
Yeah, that's the reason why Morata's been pushed out. That's why I said it makes sense on Chelsea's part, because they're pushing out a striker and bringing in a new one. Whether or not Higuain's the man to fill his boots, there's not much boot to fill. So as long as Higuain scores more goals than Morata and contributes to the team more, I'm sure Chelsea will be happy with this deal. So yeah, but next
And
thing to talk about is
and
go on, no,
also
go on.
Hudson-Odoi as well is set to reject a 85 grand a week contract offer from Chelsea, which
Yeah,
is a
I heard,
sign
yeah, I
that
heard about that.
the Bayern Munich deal is edging closer. And also, yeah, I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, it could now. There's more talks. I thought the talks stopped for a while, but after this, yeah, they're really coming back into flow. It's not looking good for Chelsea with this one. They want to keep him, but at the end of the day, this is all Sarri's doing really, and the clubs. The club should have got his contract down earlier than this, and then they wouldn't be gambling. But also Sarri, he's got to screw his head back on, because he's really. I might be overreacting here, but he's kind of just lost it. He's too stubborn. This is why Chelsea have lost to quite a lot of the sides this season, because the Jorginho thing we talked about earlier, but also this stubbornness to play the veteran players over the youngsters because he doesn't believe they're ready. And we've all seen the ability that Hudson-Odoi has. And I heard him a few weeks ago talk about in a press conference that Hudson-Odoi needs to improve this, improve that. Well, what way do you think he's going to improve? By playing. So playing. Bringing on him in the last 10 minutes of an Arsenal game is no good to his development. And it's just really poor from Sarri and Chelsea's standpoint. And they need to up their game, otherwise it's very likely that they'll just lose him this January, or actually in the summer when his contract's out. So yeah, stupid from Chelsea. They really need to up their game. But that's all I've got to say on that. Next thing we could talk about is Salah. Just congratulating him. Got 50 goals in 72 games. I think he's the second or third quickest player to reach that margin in the Premier League's history. So yeah, just great. But yeah, he's just a great player. But I never saw. I'm sure you'll agree, Rico, that what he's done in his time back in the Premier League is just insane. And you got anything to say on it, Rico?
I think he's good. He's doing well, but also he's
Yeah,
starting to dive a little bit as well. Like,
dive, you say?
yeah, he's starting to dive a little bit, especially
Yeah, but
against
that's what a lot
Crystal
of
Palace
these
at the
big players
weekend.
do. Yeah, yeah, but
Definitely
it's
should have
just
been a
it's
yellow
part of
card.
the game. Maybe they. This is the thing as well. Now he's got this like opinion around him, like he's the messiah of Liverpool and Egypt, and he's like a really nice guy and everything. Maybe that's one of the reasons that plays in Breff's heads. Like you said, he should have been given a yellow card, let him off because he's Mo Salah, and the media and fans surrounding him just kind of give him a persona that helps him in them kind of situations, which is bad, but you know it helps Salah and they're not complaining. So yeah, it's just part of the game, really. Last thing we'll talk about is Ashley Cole. That's signed for Derby County. bit lower league news, but the reason why we're talking about it is because he will reunite with Frankie Lampard. And it would be great to see what them two can do. Ashley Cole, left back at the club, and Frank Lampard as the manager, and I'm sure they will do. He will do great at Derby because he doesn't feel as much pressure. I'm sure he can deal with the pressure, but because his old mate is managing the side, I'm sure he'll give 100% for the team, and this might be a really good move for Derby. But yeah, what do you think about it, Rico?
I just think I think what it is well, I think he might go into managing with Frank Lampard after, if he
Yeah,
stays in the
a bit like John Terry when he was at Aston
Yeah, I
Villa.
think he might go
Yeah,
into it. That's maybe what's part of the deal.
and that makes sense as well because he's just obviously would be learning from Frank while he's playing because he obviously feels like he's not ready to give up just yet. His playing career, and also he will be learning how to manage a side as well. So it'd be kind of that assistant manager, not really inputting in the team, but more like an apprentice. He'll be learning off of Frank, and hopefully that will help him if he wants to go on to do in a managerial career. So best of luck to them two though, and we've been seeing that quite a lot in. Well, I say quite a lot. Only one other scenario in English football. Cesc Fabregas and Thierry Henry. So them two situations, I can't wait to see how that happens because it's just great to see old teammates in different positions working together for a side. So yeah, great to see. But that's all we really got to talk about today, guys. Again, back again on Friday with a live stream. Probably around about 7, just before the Arsenal Man United game, so we can talk about that. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And yeah, we'll see you guys on Friday. See ya.